This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. Oh. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the LinkUp podcast. And if I'm not mistaken, this is episode 49. And we're your hosts, Mr. King, Kana, and Woods.
It's 49 already?
I think so, yeah.
Boom.
I think so, yeah. Either 49 or 48. One of the two.
But I kind of lose track, sorry.
Yo.
Nah, I'm not going into it. Nope, not falling for it.
You're not going into Woods, yo?
No, not doing it. I'm
Why?
not, no.
All the man said was yo.
No, I leave now alone.
Okay.
So what good this, boy? What, today's Monday? This.
Yeah,
We do the little late recording this week, well. Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Late recording, early recording, however you want to put it.
We had something planned, but, that didn't go through. So then we had to reschedule and end up doing this thing, But that's what happens when guests don't come through sometimes. But such is life.
Yeah.
Shit. Why we was saying, man?
Why I was painting.
I ain't do a damn thing. I stayed home this weekend.
Boy.
Last weekend.
I was busy. I think last week was the most busiest week of my life.
Sound kick jazz urgent, but do explain.
So
Man, drop a mixtape.
I had
that
Photo
is,
shoot and thing looking like Black Samurai, Afro Samurai.
that
I
was
still
the
financially get some
motivation.
kind of commission for that, but
I mean, my manager, the commission coming in later, dog. No, but
long term
You
investment.
gotta support the man who providing the props to make your photo shoot look the way it is.
tell him, hey, good looking out, bro.
That'll come in
No,
later.
but yeah, dog. I still tired. Last week I probably the whole week I probably slept maybe 20 hours. Maybe.
That's not enough.
No, I'm still tired.
True. Why had you so busy other than the mixtape?
So other than the mixtape, I was also doing some research on some editing stuff, and also the wedding, which took most of my week.
Who get married?
A family member of mine.
Okay.
But I was like the DJ slash
Photographer.
no sound slash anything that has to do with music, going from the church to the gemeente to the party, like everything
okay.
involving music, even the band, everything. Yeah,
Cause
everything involving music was.
even family,
Under me.
that's not like a lot of work.
So I was, yeah. And with weddings, nothing goes according to plan. So everything, when something was fiddling about, I needed to.
Almost no event.
Yeah.
I thought you was just like there for like the ceremony or like one thing. I don't know. I
No,
didn't know what it was. I didn't
No,
know
it
what I thought
was
you
a
was
legit
doing.
marathon, dog. But the marathon started before the wedding even started. It was also bad timing on my part because I was planning on getting the mixtape out the same time as the wedding, and yeah. But yeah, that was basically it.
Yo, I still tired from Thursday. We went out
But-
Thursday
and
night.
then I still somehow went out Thursday and then had the wedding. Again, I was not.
You people have to do these crazy things. Like, I didn't realize I too old for them type of ones. Like if I go out, I know that I going on a day when I ain't got nothing to do the next day, so that I can lay in bed till forever and then I finally get out, drink some water, eat something. Like that's how it normally just go for me if I consume too much alcohol.
You know what the thing
what
is?
happened
Like,
Friday?
my problem is, like, I schedule my things. I know, okay, so Thursday, I have not, like, maybe Thursday night, I have nothing to do. So if someone asks me, hey, what you doing Thursday night? I'm like, no, I got nothing. But then I don't think about Friday. So yeah, that's my problem.
Nah, I realized the past like 2-3 weeks, you legit got schedule your things in up here, but there's been too many things going on. I'm like, yo, I know I got something to do tomorrow, but I can't remember what it is. I never make so much use of my iPhone calendar in my life.
Listen, I tell you, like, since I start, it's only recently I actually started using the calendar thing on my phone because that was something I never used to do before. But I feel like now I'm getting to that point where it's like, yo, I just don't have the time to remember everything like that, or the
mental capacity or whatever to remember everything. So it's like, yo, things need to start being written down.
Yep.
Like from work to link up agreements to whatever it might be.
But
outside
yeah,
of that.
is that and is that especially how we have to be planning like guests and stuff like that? Okay, cool. This one is this day, and then this one is that day, but then this one, my speaking of that, I still got anyway. I got a whole schedule there to check up on. But yo, let me start getting into some of the topics we had today, right?
I mean, we were talking about drinking a little bit, recovering drinking. I believe you had a topic involving some alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
Are you talking with me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it seems Heineken. Wait, let me look up. Anyway, it seems that Heineken coming out with a cannabis beverage. Yeah, I mean that is technically right, but a weed alcohol. So, well, not weed alcohol, but
beer.
Yeah,
that sounds mighty tasty.
I disagree.
I don't know. I don't know how did they say they according to the article I had read, they say that they're trying to make it to taste as much like beer as possible. But it supposedly does get you high and all that. But right now, again, according to the article, it only have them in a few stores in the States.
I'm skeptical about that.
Okay, wait, it's only in the States? I ain't using that. Let me explain why.
Regulations
in the States is pretty lax when it comes to certain things.
You leave it play out there first. You give it like 1-2 years, and then if nobody dead one day, then you know.
Yeah, that's why. If it's not being sold in Europe, but there's something wrong with it.
You see, the main problem with that, or at least from my perspective, is like when you look at the U.S. products and think about back home, is like, all the stuff that is not properly regulated and stuff. You know, at some point it's hitting SM, like. The Caribbean and things, cause that's where we import most of our stuff from. So it's like, I don't know if I'm excited. I guess probably maybe at some point on Cement they might have it, but I doubt they would actually.
They're not going to have weed. There's weed in it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't think weed in the Caribbean is still not.
I don't think they're going to have that because there's nowhere near. They're nowhere near close to reaching legalization or at least a decriminalization of it.
I feel it.
At least in St. Martin. The other neighboring islands, they seem to be way ahead when it comes to progression than St. Martin. But I don't want to keep bad talking my island.
But I really don't know how I feel about drinking weed though.
I mean, have you eaten weed?
Yeah, and I don't like it neither.
Yeah, well, that's
okay. Well, then if you know,
the same thing, just
if you're against edibles, then I could understand why you'd be against this one too.
I prefer it to be like, all right, puff. I know I'm getting on a level based on the puffs that I'm taking. I could put it down if I see like, okay, I'm high enough or whatever. That's my main problem when it comes to like brownies.
Don't drink so much.
It depends on the
don't fucking gulp it. Eat a shot.
It depends on it depends on how strong the strand is they're using, though. Because if it's a light strand,
for some reason, honestly, I doubt it's going to be much of a percentage in it anyway.
Yeah.
But because there's been infused like marijuana infused beverages, I know if you're familiar with like the Bob Marley thing that they used to sell Bob Marley drinks at SM. Like
but that wasn't that was more CBD, not necessarily the THC.
I feel like that's probably the route that they would take. Because if you done got alcohol in it and then you trying to add this, I feel like can't put it to like such a level.
No, but you see, that's the thing, and maybe I described it incorrectly. It's not necessarily alcohol. But it's just a weed drink, but it's trying to make it taste like beer.
Okay. So it's like
so it's not necessarily alcohol.
The Radler and them type of things are like a 0.1 or
0.
Yeah, a lot of them is 0.0% alcohol, but
a weed drink. Technically, it's supposed to be just a weed drink that they're trying to make taste like beer.
Yeah. A malt. So they're making a weed infused malt.
Something,
it was a long time before I realized that malt was just alcohol-free beer. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't until I came to this country and somebody asked for an alcohol-free beer, and I was like, "What are you? What is that? Like that beer without alcohol?"
Oh, so like
malt is beer without alcohol, basically.
I learned something new today.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a distinction between the two.
The person asked for that, then they came up with a malt, and I was like, a malt, in my opinion, a malt is its own drink. A vita malt, a super malt, whichever one it is.
I didn't know to class them in the same category.
But when you think about it, it is somewhat of a similar taste. If you taste the alcohol, less beer, there is. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's supposed to be the thing. It's not supposed to be necessarily alcohol and weed. Because that would be, I could see skepticism with that a little bit. But I find it would be interesting to try at least.
Yeah, I would try it. Why not?
I probably wouldn't. I still boycott Heineken.
Why again?
Why miss?
Because they commercials.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
but-
lighter is better. I don't forget.
Okay,
I
so
gotta remember the people who's now on enemy list that I'm not supporting.
so you still boycotting H&M?
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah, me
went
too.
there since I don't know how long.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure. Just checking.
Staying consistent. Don't worry.
Okay,
about it.
just making sure. Whereas in if the drink would be successful or not, I don't know. I guess it depends on the taste and how actually strong it is and how many people get fucked up off of it, because that is really going to determine how tough the legislation going to be, especially in the States. But yeah, so there's Da.
On the topic of alcoholism or alcohol and stuff like that,
Alcoholism.
I feel like instead alcoholism, Woods. How do you feel about that in terms of Aruba? Because I remember you mentioning something last week, kind of on that topic ish.
Yeah, the youths them wildin'.
Yeah, but that's everywhere.
No, but when 8 to 9 kids die in a week
Wow. Due to alcohol?
due to alcohol,
But
you got a problem. Now.
Alcohol poisoning?
Yeah, or just like don't do
reckless
dumb shit
driving
while
due to
alcohol.
being under
Drinking
influence?
and driving due
So-
to being under influence.
So only drinking and driving.
Yeah, all of them. Every
Damn.
single one of them.
Wow. And all of them was confirmed, okay, we got you way past the
Yeah.
sober limit type of thing.
Maybe Aruba should put more speed bumps.
No, dog, there's too much. If they put more, you'll be driving continuously on
On
speed
speed.
bumps.
And was you like, when was this? When they did this, when was this week?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Two to
What?
3 weeks ago. It was around that time period. But it was
Yeah.
just like, boy, like, my Facebook was just like, rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace. And like, yo.
Well, I mean, not to cut off the whole alcohol thing in Aruba, but my Facebook been kind of saying that too. The past in St. Martin, people
But
been
yeah.
wilding down there too, because
Slightly different cause
Type of,
and
yeah.
situations and certain
still young
ones,
people be
but
dead.
Yeah, I mean the result, the conclusion, still the same. But,
Yeah, I ain't even wiping now. Okay, I don't even know that makes sense to talk about.
but with like,
Yeah.
would you say that that's a unique thing to Aruba though in your experience? Like, I mean, I
the
assume
thing
that's
is-
probably where you lived and where most people you might know is, but
You know, the thing is, like, there's this sort of Arubian culture with drinking alcohol.
I feel
like
like, that's a
Arubians are
Caribbean.
known-
thing,
Yeah,
though.
I think that's the Caribbean something.
Yeah, but at least in the ABC Islands, Arubians are like legit known for drinking, and like drinking is not frowned upon there at all. And I don't know that. It's just
Alcohol cheap in Aruba.
no.
No?
Like how much you would pay
compared to
for?
the other islands, I think Aruba has one of the most expensive alcohols.
Can I really drink that now?
Like if you
They
wanted
still
a
drink
bottle
like
of
that?
Hennessy or something like that, well, what would the
100
price be in a shop?
something.
What?
100 something what?
Gillas.
A Hennessy a liter?
Yeah.
Around 100?
Dollars or gillas?
No,
You still
Gillas.
answer.
Gillas.
Gillas.
Yeah.
Even that's expensive, but
That's still like what, $50
Yo, remember-
somewhere around there. Right?
remember-
like 40, 45, 47.
Remember the story I told you when we went with the Aruban international team to St. Martin, and then we found out that buying water was more expensive than buying alcohol?
Yeah.
Aruba is the opposite. Alcohol is just expensive compared to the other islands.
Well, I
The
mean,
tax is
You
high.
think we just drink too much in St. Martin?
yes.
I think it's just
undoubtedly. I mean, alcoholism been a problem on St. Martin. When you look at how young, how normalized drinking is within the culture, especially if you're looking at underage drinking on St. Martin, how normalized that is, how lenient a lot of parents is and be like, oh, look, come take your first sip of a young ass child, your first sip of beer or your first sip of champagne, Pink Lady or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
thing
but
like
that's a
that.
little
First sip of booze.
that
Yeah,
might
some
be a little
booze.
bit different. I'd rather have my child get tossed around me so I know how stupid they can and potentially can be than if they just go and do it around their friends.
Yeah, but
So
I feel like
that's a danger. That's
Yeah, it's a dangerous slope.
Yeah, it could go either way. It really depends on you and your child. But
it's something that still you being introduced to it at such a young age in a lot of situations. I feel like I know for me personally, like my experience was my mother was super anti-alcohol and all of these things. There was never no alcohol in the house and thing because my mother never used to drink like that. She might go out and have on a Friday night have like 1 or 2 drinks and that would be it. But I know that me and my homies was doing a lot of drinking. I mean, to the point that we decided to name our group after a form of alcohol and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what happened to her.
you wasn't no different, Ciroc boy. Don't hate on the rowdy boys because you was a Ciroc boy. You just had a different drink of choice.
Technically, we was
Y'all
first,
was
so
more
I
high
just-
class. My shit costed like what, $13, $14 or something.
Yo, Ciroc just tastes better to me, dog.
I wasn't trying to pay €40 for vodka.
It wasn't
I
40,
will say-
it was like 30.
However much, him saying euros and things, dollars. But
Yeah.
to me, I will say that Ciroc, in my opinion, is the best tasting vodka because it's a vodka that does not taste like vodka.
It don't have the strong vodka taste.
It
I
don't
find.
taste like a Belvedere. It don't taste like an Absolute. It don't taste like a Sky. It don't taste like most of
Absolute is still one of my favorites
Absolute
out
is
of
But
Like-
how did we go from talking about alcohol to then talking about our
Alcohol.
favorite alcohol?
It's because
we talking about alcohol.
With the transition that this show does have some depth, this at least is
Transition actually
relevant.
makes sense.
Yeah, at least this is relevant.
Yeah,
But do
the
you
islands
see-
have an alcohol problem.
It's not like the Caribbean itself got alcohol problem.
But I mean, these are things that historically speaking, I know at least in certain places it makes sense why there is an alcohol problem. When you think of like when you look at a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and or just when you hear about pirates
was-
in the Caribbean
rum
and
was
the
one of
association
the
with rum,
trades.
exactly, like rum is a very uniquely Caribbean. I mean, it's made in other places, but rum specifically, like wine, that might be a France thing, and other places in Europe. Beer is also a very European thing, in my opinion. Rum was what we was doing, like the different infusions. How many times you would see different people that have like a bottle of rum, then they got bush and this and all of these type of things mixed in to give it some kind of spice rum. That's what a Captain Morgan is,
or
like
some kind of dead animal.
scorpions and all kind of
Yeah.
nonsense. I've seen them foolishness. Yeah, but, like,
Them Spanish people like them things.
yeah, and these is very Caribbean, like, I don't know. And I think it also has to do with like duty free ports and stuff like that, being able to get stuff tax free in terms of alcohol and things. I know like that
No,
whole
no,
works.
no.
Well, on St. Martin,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I feel you. Aruba,
there's
though,
certain
I
taxes
just
or whatever
understand-
that's less on.
You know, I think though the biggest problem is in Aruba is like the motorcycle culture as well, and then you have that with drinking because a lot of these that's
Ooh.
also
Yeah,
Like accidents.
bike
I
accidents.
could see that how that could not mix well.
So
Yeah, but then we got the same thing. Maybe to a lesser degree because
You
they
used to
can't
have
say
bike
how
culture that big?
by on certain
okay,
days.
yeah,
the
yeah,
amount
yeah.
on a Sunday or whatever when it is that they're doing their big ride around the islands and then Easter Monday and thing. Easter Monday for sure you would Easter Sunday, whichever day it was, I forget. But on Easter you would normally see all the people who got bikes and then all the scooter man from St. Peter's and
you'll go
thing.
camping on Easter too,
Um,
around the time period.
Some people.
yeah,
Like
because-
the real extremists, what I would call them, the party goers, they would like set up the tents and them kind of ones.
Yeah.
But not,
I know
that
a
was
lot of people
normal
that would go
something.
like early morning, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. Like on a Easter Monday, for example, Easter Monday is known as like a beach day. Everybody going beach on
Yeah.
Easter
I
Monday.
think that's a Caribbean
So,
thing in
like,
general.
A lot of people, they just from like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock. I know certain people, they done on the beach, they done set up and got this spot and things so that they could properly enjoy the whole day on the beach type of vibe. So I wouldn't say that's camping exactly, but I mean,
They
Yeah,
are
Aruba, like they're
for a
like
minute
just
now.
camping, like
But some people will go on like Pinel and them kind of
Yeah,
maybe
true.
or maybe that's because I more grew up in the Caucasian culture of the island. That's
I mean,
what,
I've heard
the one
I've heard
thing-
of people
That's-
doing
that's
them
what my
things
people-
as well.
that's what people used to do. So I mean, but speaking of that whole beer thing, they also had I also see this in the on the same page of the whole weed alcohol type fuck. They're gonna have instead of a breathalyzer, they're gonna have for alcohol, they're gonna have a marijuana breathalyzer, which is able to detect how much marijuana you intake in however period of time. It don't really say from the article, but I wonder what the limit gonna be. That would be my question. So like one toke, like one joint, because one joint is already like you done screwed. Like your reflexes
I
already
think-
ain't the same from one joint.
I think it depends on how high you are at the point of, I would assume.
Yeah, but they would still
But
need
that's the
to
thing, but
draw a
still,
line
what-
and be
yeah,
like,
what
okay,
is the
cool, is
limit?
this
Because-
over even?
Because the quote unquote the what the thing is for alcohol, 1 glass of wine, and you should be normally you should be okay
According to me, it's
if
like
you get thing.
0.8% blood alcohol level.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
somewhere
something like that.
around there.
Okay,
is
I
like,
didn't know the exact thing, but like
But
give or take is like 1 glass
and
of
a half
beer, or 1
glass.
glass of wine. So then what would be it for a thing like 1 toke?
I think it depends on what you're doing with weed. Because
Oh yeah, you could
because when
smoke it, you could
smoke
bong it, you could dab it,
when you
could.
smoke it, you're not getting
eat
the
it.
same amount of.
Ooh, so what would be if you eat it?
That would make a big difference. I would
I
assume.
wonder
But
if
how
that
can
would-
they test
but then,
that?
But then that's the thing. If you eat it, it don't kick in as long. It does not kick in. It takes longer to kick in.
But it lasts way longer.
But it lasts longer. So that's the thing. If I still like obviously coherent and my reflexes obviously doesn't seem like it's hindered in any type of way, but yet my however they gonna call it, my
Then I
THC
would-
alcohol level
then I
or
would
THC blood
believe-
level.
I feel that it probably wouldn't show up. Because if you ain't feeling none of the effects yet, that probably means that it hasn't digested and been absorbed into
Yeah,
your
'cause it
system.
has to.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
thing with eating. It has to be absorbed. It got to be digested and then absorbed into your bloodstream or wherever and thing before you would feel. That's why it's like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or hour sometimes or whatever before you feel that high with edibles. But I would assume that probably would mean that you're not high yet. You would be safe if you were to take this test.
But I'm assuming then, like,
But once it kick
what
in,
what
it's a
is it
different thing.
analyzing your spit?
I
Because
don't know. No.
If you go eat it, it ain't gonna be on your breath.
Well, this is for
Right?
anybody who's interested. Y'all can go look that up. But yeah,
Because I'm
this-
really interested to see like how they're actually going to. I would assume it has
Me
to take
too.
like your spit or something to actually be able to. But what's it called? Is it a breathalyzer?
yeah, it's supposed to be a breathalyzer, but for weed.
That's something to look into.
Huh, yeah, I'm
That's
very,
something to look
very
into.
curious.
Honestly, I got like a lot of the same questions as you in terms of like how exactly it work, what exactly are they looking for. But
That I just find out something interesting.
because I mean, prior to that, to my knowledge, like most of the times when you looking or testing for marijuana, it would be like urine or whatever they would test. Usually with drug testing, then you pee in a cup type of vibe and that's tested. So I'm like, I don't know where. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how exactly marijuana shows up in your system and things like that to say, okay, this is what you need to do to test for it. So that's something to look into.
Yeah. So now, since we practically shut down close that topic. This is something else that had made me laugh when I had seen this morning. Not this morning, like this is like a couple days ago. Caitlyn Jenner wants to play a villain.
Caitlyn.
I'm going to call her Caitlyn, okay?
Don't get it.
Caitlyn Jenner wants to play a villain in a Marvel movie.
She can be a lucky.
Why? My question. Like, what? Why?
I could see her play a
Because the
role.
Jenners and the Kardashians can do anything.
Yes, I could see her in the role of a lucky, like Igor.
I'm not gonna go anywhere. That guy gonna make some really bad jokes with that one. I tried to change my life and not go in there.
I can see her as a villain. I'm sorry.
Like, I don't even know what to say on
she's
that.
too,
You
she's
can?
too funny looking.
But most villain. I mean, have you seen Voldemort?
No, but Voldemort looks like Voldemort. She looks more like if Voldemort had like I ain't
Yo, it's too easy. That's why I'm not going.
Like, I don't even know what to say on the topic. It's just
I really fight to
wouldn't
it.
watch it. I wouldn't watch whatever movie she
I would
happens to
watch
be
it.
in.
It's
I-
just
I don't really
I
know
can
the
see her
whole
as a
thing.
villain
Because
The way she
it's
talks.
Marvel. Because it's Marvel. I would watch it. I'm a Marvel fan. I didn't say I'm a Marvel fanboy, but I'm a fan. But
Boy.
I wouldn't be interested. Let's put it that way. Because what? Like I've seen you on some episodes of Kardashians, dude. I don't want to see you act. I really don't want to see you act. Like there's no.
Like, but
No.
I mean, I would just be curious if she was actually a good actor. I have no idea.
No, I'm not interested to
Actually,
see.
I'm now more curious. I
No,
just want
oh
to see
God.
what but it has to be in the
What
perfect.
movie you think it would be?
Deadpool. Has to be in Deadpool. Has to be in Deadpool.
A comedy?
It has to be.
That's why
Has
so
to
people
be.
can laugh at Caitlyn Jenner. You fuck up. You're wrong. Why
then
you want
we-
people to
then
laugh
we-
at Caitlyn Jenner?
And then
You're wrong.
I'm not
you
wrong.
know what would be a good scene, Jen? You know what would be a sick scene is all of a sudden like the Deadpool just come and cut off the tool and be like, no, now you can finally be a girl. That would be a funny
See,
scene.
that's inappropriate. I understand exactly why you didn't see nothing. I'm sure somebody could find someone to misconstrue that as transphobic.
But
Marvel would never do that in a movie.
No.
I guarantee. Like, even a Deadpool franchise, how like the type of humor and stuff that Deadpool has, the backlash from that will be like, no.
yeah, that's going a bit
I
too far.
still
But I
find
would
it
want
very
it to be
funny.
in like a Deadpool movie.
I don't see nothing.
Just that casting alone is funny in and of itself.
Or maybe
in my
like
opinion.
Guardian of the Galaxy.
So you're saying she's
she
some
an alien.
alien, right?
You see, your brain went the same place. It's like, no matter which movie you put it in there, it's somehow going to come up.
But that's her own fault, okay? Of all movies, fucking Marvel is a made up universe.
yeah, a bunch of
What
science fiction
What
stuff.
you expect us to think? Especially saying that you want to be a villain? Come now.
Why a villain though? Like, okay, let's go into the mind of Caitlyn Jenner for a second.
No, let's not.
Why a
How
villain?
about no?
How about a why a villain?
No.
Does she look intimidating in any type of way?
No.
Yeah, but it's still like, I don't know, the Kardashians and the whole clan is seen as villains by some people and stuff in what they do.
Yeah, but not
They're
like
liked by certain people
Not
that like-
global apocalypse type of shit. It's more like
Hey,
annoyance
So you're
than
telling
anything.
me Caitlyn Jenner can't be Thanos?
No,
But technically,
No.
You
if
can't
you think
imagine
about
Caitlyn with
it,
Infinity Gauntlet.
if you think about it, just on a
I
smaller
want to see her
scale,
with the Infinity Gauntlet. No.
they
That's-
kind of
that's
doing
the
the same thing now. They're slowly spreading and like taking over now. Cause like now they got Travis Scott. Now she and Kylie got a child, and then their children will end up screwing other celebrity children, and then you know gonna just start going from there, and they're slowly gonna take over the world, dog. It's possible.
What-
And they
what-
could really be the villains of the world.
In what type of apocalypse are you living in?
Yo,
my
look
friend?
right. If zombies could happen, that could happen.
But
I mean, like, look at the world we live in. The other one of them had 900 million, and her fans felt that was not enough. We need to start a GoFundMe to get this person to reach 1 billion.
Oh God, that's something.
The villains, are they not villains?
no, their fans just stupid. Are they not?
I want to have stupid fans
Me too.
because it's
I
impossible.
need fans like that.
Look, I have 900 million. You know, I need 100 million more. Y'all give me money to get me 1 billion.
No, she didn't even. She didn't
You know,
even
ask
ask.
the fans
just
decide. This
decided.
on their
That's
own.
and that's the best part of it. That's when you know your fans really loyal. You don't gotta ask for nothing.
Really stupid if you
Yeah.
ask me. It's like
You already
900 million.
900 million. You already contributed to that 900 million as fans. They already contributed.
I lost for words. But you know how scary that
Wait.
is.
Continue.
You know how scary that is, Jad? That like this girl really have like control over, not control, but she really has influence over 900. At least what is this girl got? What, at least 2 point something million on followers on Instagram.
She got too much.
She has more.
Because,
she has
like,
way more than that.
Sadly, I was watching a Kim Kardashian interview. Just like I started watching
Why are
it
you doing that?
because it was on Big Boy, and I'm a fan of Big Boy interviews and stuff. And I started watching it. It was like, I got to like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of it, and I was like, I don't know what I was expecting different from a Kim Kardashian interview, and I went and did something else in my life that I felt was more constructive. But she got like 150 million followers on. So I am sure the other Jenners ain't too far off. I know Kim is the main one, but I'm
Okay.
sure the rest of them.
I think
Caitlyn has 9.1 million.
Nobody want to hear about that girl.
Wait, Kendall has 93.8 million.
Ridiculous nonsense. Like, this is the world we living in. Like,
I'm gonna see who my friends following them. I'm gonna judge them.
Say he could
I
judge
mean,
that.
what else is it? That's the only appropriate reaction. If
Right.
you ask me.
No, but I just gotta.
You deserve judgment.
I gotta take away some of my friends.
I just find that was extremely hilarious because that offers up. I mean, I find that opens the door to a whole shitload of jokes. But
Talking about reality stars.
God.
We could go two directions with this. Cause we got two
God.
reality stars on the docket.
Oh God.
One being Ray J, one being Trump.
Oh, okay, no. We're not going left. So,
Which one's left?
So you mean right?
no, Trump is left.
No. Trump is right.
Left, right wing politics.
Yes.
Let's go home. Jesus Christ.
So Ray J had.
First of all,
Did
the
y'all see,
internet,
everybody see the meme?
the internet is ridiculous.
No, I did not see
The
that.
internet is fucking ridiculous.
And did any of y'all see the Breakfast Club interview after the memes and stuff?
No,
because
but
Charlemagne decided he wanted to go and he pulled out a beanie and the whole interview, the man changing, like, the man put it over his face like a bunch of nonsense. Like,
But I wonder, okay, for those who haven't seen it, the whole Ray J challenge thing is like the man had an episode of whatever the fuck he'd be on.
Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see this.
And then for some reason, every time the camera would shift and go back to Ray J, his hat would be in a different place. Somebody had put the video up on the shade room, I think it was, and then from there it just went. So now my question, I wonder if they had planned for this.
No.
Or if they thought this was going to happen. Because you never know. Yo, they got some smart people out there when it comes to social media and shit like that. You never really know.
You know what I think it is? Well, I saw it and the first reaction was, this was done without a producer. Someone was not looking at this man's consistency with the hat, and they took a bunch of takes and the hat was in different places. Because usually when you're filming something, like, it's not done in one setting and there's going to be mistakes made. And if you don't have a stylist on set to make sure everything stays the way it's supposed to be, then you can have shit like that happening. But it's very dramatic, so it might have been planned.
It's supposed to be reality, though. So it's like, if we got the stylist and all of these things on set, then
I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to go into that.
It's supposed to be reality, but what is reality TV? It's a bunch of fake shit.
Yeah.
I agree, and I'm aware of that. But I mean, that could be the justification as to why it's like, yo, we don't. And generally speaking, reality TV doesn't have the same budget that regular TV shows have, and that's a part of the reason why it is so prevalent today. Because networks
it's
love
easy,
it.
yeah.
It's hardly any investment. We don't need scripts and things like
you just need a camera and follow around people. Everybody else gonna be getting free promotion, so nobody gonna say no.
Well, that explains the hat then.
Yeah, but I don't. But I guess, but I don't know. But either way, the internet
From
is
what I was saying
undefeated.
in the interview, it had something to do with, improper hairline or whatever and things like that. So, you're just adjusting it and blah, blah. But I don't know.
Well,
Some explanation along those lines.
Either way, I find that thing is hilarious how them man is tripping over it. And I don't want to talk about Trump.
I don't even know what the man did this week. I was so busy I wasn't even paying attention.
I mean, the main thing I assume was the star being removed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was the main thing that we had to potentially talk about. Because you had referenced it from last week.
Screw that. You know what I want to talk about quick before we get into a serious topic? Oh, you see that video of how 50 Cent take back all the money he threw at the strip club?
No.
By it had like a stacks on the floor. You just see 50 men. I'm like, no, stripper. Apparently, you wasn't.
I don't know why. They see me, he come out and make a statement and stuff like that, but I didn't check the articles. But from what I gather, the man was upset at one of the strippers, and he said, screw it. He went back and like scoop up all the money that he threw on the floor and just bust off with it. The man pick it up, turn around, and it went down.
The man wanted a refund. It's like, I threw my money. I expected a performance, a dance, or like a show, basically.
Between people like Rihanna and 50 Cent on Instagram, these people don't got no kind of chill. None whatsoever.
I can't be angry with the man. I mean, the man paying for service. Is expect a certain type of quality.
That gonna be a new thing, eh? Man will like, oh, so you're cool.
Oh, wait, so
that's what you're doing. Alright, you deserve this.
Like, if you let's imagine someone.
That was my question.
Buys food.
That's allowed?
I mean,
is that to me it was like a non-existent rule. Once the dollar fall, like that's theirs.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't go in strip. I'm not familiar enough with strip clubs to know
I went to a strip club
the proper etiquette.
Yeah, I gotta ask my strip club friends.
I mean, I went to one once.
I've been there.
That seemed to be the trend in St. Martin now for some reason.
I've been there multiple times, and usually it was just because
strip clubs in St. Martin.
Yeah.
What? They got like 4, 5, 6, 7.
They got a couple.
At least 4.
I mean, in Aruba they have slut clubs.
We got enough of those too. We got at least 5 of those. I think so. I don't know if they get shut down.
Well, be a slut club, a whole house,
Yeah.
like a brothel,
Yeah.
to be using the proper terms and whatnot.
I mean,
a whole house. What fucking
a place where prostitution occurs.
yes.
And a whole house.
I mean,
Shit.
I'm sorry for if I said it incorrectly. I was not
It's a whole
going
house.
to those places.
Like usually, most of the times that I've ever been to a strip club, it was because like, okay, tantra done, and the people that I'm with are like the actual club, regular club done at 4 or whatever, 5, whatever. What time tantra was done? Like 4 or
Yeah,
something.
between 4:35.
Yeah. And after that, people that I'm rolling with still they ain't ready to go home yet. They still want to hit some flex, and like the only place that is be open after the club done is the strip clubs.
Or the whole house.
Yeah.
Can you remember Casa used to be a flex after, which wasn't so bad, but I guess
I
it
know.
depends on the people.
Them places.
That really says a lot about the people you roll with, though.
How so?
Could they go in strip club? They a couple other places, man. You can go to the house and strip club. And you can
Like-
go on the beach and back up. Everybody got music in the car.
Yeah, I guess. And that used to happen sometimes. But
That's true.
I mean,
And I can't judge you because I was in the same place as you was. So I just say it in general.
but yeah.
Okay. I find we should stay on the last topic. Starting on the last. 'Cause I find this is a thing one. That whole shit that was going on with Chicago. For those who don't know, I think it happened last week.
I believe it was last weekend.
So the police department in Chicago, they decided to do this. One of their ways to stop crime or fight crime is to put a truck with a whole bunch of merchandise like shoe, Jordans and them kind of ones in the hood, unlocked, unchecked,
And just watch it.
and just wait for people to come and try to fit, and then they lock up those people. First of all, how are you feel about that? Before I say my
They
thing.
set in a trap. You fall for the trap. Was the hood open?
No, like the truck was unlocked, doors
No,
open.
Wait, so the truck was unlocked and the doors were open.
Yeah, so like it was legit was a trap.
Yeah. No, but the doors were like when you say open, you mean the
Okay,
doors
I don't know if it was
open or just unlocked.
It was just unlocked. I don't know
Okay.
specifically if it was wide, if the doors were wide open,
Look.
like if they had to go and open it. But
If that doesn't even matter. If they set a trap and you fall for the trap, that means this is not something you did on one time. This is something you do on the regular.
Really?
I mean,
I feel like that's a nonsense excuse. So
You think
reason
so?
why?
see, this is why I wanted to save this
If
for
you
last.
see a dollar on the floor, you can just watch and be like, "Oh well, that's somebody else's dollar."
that's
whatever.
different than going into the car,
King, that's a little-
opening the trunk, and then
that's-
stealing the things.
That's a
then-
little different, King.
That's different. If you see a wallet on the ground and you take the wallet, you don't see anything in it, only money, fine. Because you can't. How are you gonna figure out who the wallet's from? No identification, no nothing. But if there's a car, like let's say I just
No
parked my car somewhere,
identification.
went there, come back, and they stole something in my car. That's
but
that analogy. I understand what you're trying to say, but this is different. It's not like
yeah, I don't find that's the same either.
that takes some. You have to think about it. Like going into the car, pop in the trunk, see what's in the trunk.
yeah,
That's
but
not something you just do regularly.
how this situation was played out. The one of the videos I saw, it was just basically like you could have see what was inside the car, and it was just full of merchandise. Like this didn't look like anybody's car necessarily. Like I'm not trying to say that it couldn't have been that. Like to me, it would just be a very weird situation that somebody just went and bought all of what it was that was inside there and just put the car there, unlocked and stuff like that. It's a very unlikely situation, and to me is like is a hard comparison when you have different, like, it's a poor neighborhood where all of these things was happening. It's a poor neighborhood. You know that there are certain things that would be happening. Like there's numerous studies showing that the number one like factor that contributes to crime and stuff is poverty. If there's excessive poverty, extreme poverty, this is one of the number one deciding factors that leads to crime. from back when, different times, like, no, it may be so that there's a lot of black people in Chicago or whatever that's committing crimes, but it was the same thing when you have the Italians who came over to the US and stuff in the beginning, started the mafia and all these things, who was the number one, like some of the number one people in crime, organized crime, mafia shit, until they was able to make a claim for themselves, until they did enough for that to be like, okay, cool, I could start legitimizing certain businesses and stuff like that in different ways. There was number one crime. No, it just changed and thing to a certain thing. To me, it's just, I see this as like being one of those things that help to show that certain communities are over policed in different ways to inflate crime numbers and shit. Why you out here setting traps? Go like catch actual criminals. Setting traps, like, to me, I feel like that, to me, is a little different than, I don't know, maybe, to me, it's unnecessary.
I understand what you're saying.
Like, police could be doing better shit with their time instead of being like, okay, let's, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying.
I find it,
but at the same time, don't steal shit, dog. That's
easy to say when you got shit.
No, but I understand. A lot of us. Okay,
listen, I don't advocate stealing.
Yeah,
I
but
agree with you on that point because it's not something that I do. But to me, it's like, if I ain't got shit and you giving me a gift, I'ma take it.
I feel what you're saying, but it could have been any other random car. That's also the thing.
Yeah,
like,
but any other random car is not stocked with boxes and boxes of brand new J's and whatever, that things that people know would appeal to people in this neighborhood. Things that people know is high value items that I could sell and flip for like 400, 500, depending on what J or pair of J's it is. Like, that's just wrong. In my opinion, from the police part, y'all could be doing better shit with your time. If you feel like, okay, this is how we need to clean up the streets of Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a moral
what
line
do you think,
in this.
Kana?
There's a moral line in this story.
You've been quiet.
Is a difficult something for me because on one hand, I was listening to one of the Chicago activists. They was like, yeah, they know what they was doing. They know that this is poor neighborhoods. The same thing what King was saying. They know that this is poor neighborhoods. They know that this is what the people going to look to sell, and they look at people looking to survive and all that kind of thing. Cool. I understand that part.
Y'all creating crime in this situation. That's how I see that.
Yeah.
You know what the result will be from doing that?
Cool.
So y'all creating crime to say, okay, we doing something.
You can't neglect that argument. But on the flip side too, if you from the hood, you know,
look at it and be like, this too good to be true. Something gotta be up.
Yo, I feel like you supposed to know better, Jad. Especially if you know, especially if that reality for you is so strong that being locked up is like yo, that's life. That's a real possibility that if you just do that you could get sent to jail. And something will just appear like that out of nowhere, and you know how the fucking police will move on, and you will still fall for something like that, or not at least wait to see if somebody else can catch first, or wait and see something. To me, you deserve to get locked up to that.
To me,
but then while I say that, I know that's still a harsh something to say, because some people legit don't have the option to be like that.
Like, well, why do people rob a Chinese shop? Let's look at St. Martin example. Why do people rob a Chinese shop?
I can't.
Why?
The
point I'm trying to make basically is like, why? I mean,
because I feel a lot of people that be dropping a Chinese shop could do fucking better, and they just ain't doing shit with it themselves. That's why I can't take that as example.
I would agree with you to some degree, but it's just an analogy. The point I'm basically trying to make is there are certain type of places that people would rob and things like, you know, is not no big money, but you gotta put yourself and understand the mindset of somebody that'll be like, you know, why do I think it's a good idea to rob a Chinese shop, a gas station, whatever it may be, the place that, you know, people that does get robbed? It's not a whole lot of money that these places necessarily would have in them like that. It's not like you robbing the bank, you getting a casino, you hitting some like a high value target that you know. Because the reason these people commit these kind of crimes is partly, I would think, is a lack of a long-term necessarily mentality thinking, because I'm in a fucked up situation now. I need to get out of this situation now. I ain't got time to sit and plan the perfect Ocean's 11 move to hit up the Bellagio or whatever and stuff like that to hit those kind of crimes. The people who's committing petty crimes, generally speaking, is often highly uneducated people, partly, and I wouldn't say all the time.
Yeah, because like it depends, because certain people do it legitimately off of necessity, but then you also have certain people that do it
because it's there.
Not just because it's there. Look at the items that were in there. What were they? They were J's, as you said. They were stuff that they see as
high value
stuff. And a lot of times, and this is something that my mother told me a lot when I was a kid, don't try to be look what other people have if you don't have it, blah, 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 blah. So especially especially what those items were, sometimes people just steal it because it's those items, because it's those highly valued items that they want to have.
I don't know, but because
it depends. It really depends on the situation.
And I really on the fence when it comes to that too. Because at one point it's like, yo, you go looking for steal, you get catch. That's your own damn problem, dog. But at the same time, like, boy, I could kind of see how it's kind of entrapment.
Yeah, I understand. Like the situation, the whole thing is fucked up.
It reminds me of things like stop and frisk or racial profiling, certain police policies and stuff, that you not stopping crime, you looking for crime, you looking to lock people up type of thing. And there's way more better stuff that y'all could be doing with your resources.
Okay,
if you targeting certain particular people in certain neighborhoods to be like, okay, these the only neighborhoods we police in, and then we're going to then say that, oh,
yeah, but let's
black people committing all the crimes, or Moroccans or Turks in this country committing all the crimes.
Let's
and
be real.
Stuff like that.
If stop and frisk was actually implemented properly and fairly, do you not think that was a good idea?
Fairly meaning what?
Fairly meaning like as in like it wasn't just one clear minority being stopped. As in white people was getting stopped, businessman was getting stopped, thugs was getting stopped, mothers was getting stopped, children was getting stopped. Everybody, tout moon bagay, everybody getting stopped.
No.
I disagree. I find that would be a good, especially in a place like New York, where if guns was rampant, like how they say it was, if everybody was getting it, cool, no problem. But just to say one minority, how it was actually carried out, nah, that's unfair for sure. And obviously it was being directed towards a specific subculture. But if you could tell me that, yeah, white woman and white man getting such too, why the hell not? Okay, if it's a rule, it's a rule for everybody.
Because part of the reason stop and frisk in certain places, those kind of policies were stopped, is because people realized, like, yo, it was not effective. It wasn't doing nothing. It was not help. There was no correlation between this policy and actual increase or decrease in crime or catching people.
But can you not also say because of how it was implemented?
Partly, like it's definitely part of it. To say that, I don't know. Because to me, my whole thing with stop and frisk is like, yo, I ain't do shit. Fuck you stopping me for. Like, that's just what my main thing, whether you white, black, whatever it may be. To me, things like, if I just walking down the street, this whole idea of just being randomly searched by the police because we can type of thing, I don't like that on a whole. Yeah, so that's why I personally saying, like, stop and frisk, but no matter how it's implemented, to me is an issue.
Maybe I see it different then, because
yes, you may be able to catch some people unsuspectingly.
That's the thing. I seen it different, because to me, if somebody tell me, if say like for instance the government had to tell me like a month in advance, like, yo, if let's say we in what we in now? We in August? Yeah, we in August now. Suppose the Dutch government come and say, yo, in October, from the month of October to December, we're looking to cut down on crime, this and this and this and that. It is possible that the police might ask you to search you just to look for weapons. Okay, suppose that's the thing, and suppose it end up being implemented, and I see both man, woman, black, white, Haitian, Chinese, everybody getting such. I have no problem with that, because then supposedly that's really, to me, that look like the government really looking out for the citizens and trying to get the things off the road. But that's if everybody gets in it. If you're just saying like, yo, we just going to the Moroccan neighborhood, or we just going to the Suriname neighborhood or the African neighborhood to go to turn up the place, nah, that can't fly.
I agree with what you're saying partially, because yeah, if that's the way they are implemented, then you can legitimately say, okay, there's no bias. It is just a policy that's maybe about safety and trying to get guns off the street. Cool. But then I still think from a personal human rights perspective that, like, who the fuck is you to just decide you want to stop me, search me, inconvenience my day, and all of these things for the sake of that? And I understand there's always a certain amount of freedoms that's given up for the sake of privacy, security, and safety and security and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I get that.
Like,
I understand that.
one
but
got come with the next.
I still don't think y'all should just be slapping me. I think if there's a crime committed, you go and find the crime. That's what your job's supposed to be, in my opinion, as a police officer. Like, you trying to preemptively stop crime necessarily just by assuming and being like, okay, we just we starting out with a principle that everybody is a criminal and we just stopping and checking everybody. I don't like that idea.
And that idea can never be implemented fairly, because there will always be
bias on a personal thing, because
and
police
it doesn't matter the race or color. It just certain situations will have biases towards certain type of people.
But that's
either you're black or Jewish or whatever. There's always biases.
But that means bias will never get rid of bias, because once you have people involved, there's going to be bias.
Yeah, that's why you
gotta have whatchamacallits, rules and checks and balances in place, because everything in life is made out of people. Every institution, everything we do is people at the end of the day that's behind it, that's controlling it, that's responsible for how it functions. But that's where people fall. That's where you have rules and other people and other systems to check and make sure that things are being carried out the way that they should.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work perfectly, because nothing is perfect in life. But if you just leaving it up, because I ain't gonna never forget my experiences coming through Amsterdam Central and seeing them being like, okay, we doing random searches and stuff, and then being like, okay, white person go through, white person go through, white person go through, me and my woman holding hands, I don't know what crime we looking like we commit, but we the people get checked, and then once we pass, white person go through, white person go through, white person go through. Like, this is the way shit is done, and you telling me so no white people committing crimes and shit? Like, only black people is who you suspecting?
But you see, that's my whole thing. That's
the point you was making.
I wouldn't mind something like that, because like, if all the three white people in front of me had get checked, I would have been like, okay, cool, look, go through, do your
then
thing.
I could understand.
Everybody
Don't
gets
tell
in
me
it,
it's
no problem.
random. Don't tell me it's random when it's clear who the fuck you selecting.
If you tell to me, maybe if the airport was more straight up, people would be less upset. If you say, all black people get as such, but then in that they would probably get like,
boycotts,
they'll definitely
lawsuit for racism because you can't do that.
All that legal aspect. But
speaking of rules and regulations,
Batman rules and laws.
We have one topic that fits in perfectly with this.
Which one? That
about the word is not coming into my head right now.
The toeslag?
No, yeah, the toeslag thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know shit about that.
Alrighty then. Well, basically, what Woods is referring to was an article that I saw from the NOS, and I would have actually liked to have read the full article and stuff before we start recording, but right now I ain't got time to. It's a reasonably long article, so I can't read it on the podcast.
Isn't there like a small summary?
And it's in Dutch. I mean, you could look through it. Maybe you reread it, I will talk. But basically, the main thing about the article is that there would be less kinderbijslag given to people if you decide not to vaccinate the people. And kinderbijslag is basically like if you have a child in certain situations, you get a subsidy from the government and stuff like that. And I wish I could tell you all the details specifically about how exactly they're going to be implementing this, what are the specific things to be like. But to me, it's just a problematic issue. Like, I understand where they're coming from to a certain degree, because they're trying to make sure the way vaccinations work, the scientific explanation or whatever, it all relies on herd immunity and these type of things, and the holes in that result in other people getting affected is just having maybe one child is not properly vaccinated and stuff, and that like basically is like a hole in the shield type of thing. And then so they're trying to make sure everybody's vaccinated so that there's this wall and blah blah blah. But to me it just seems like more trying to force people into situations, because I see a lot of people in mainstream outlets and mainstream news or whatever, and they very like the way that they just report against anti-vaccination people is like they are a bunch of crazy people that don't know how science work and this and that, and just try to dismiss it like you just stupid if you're not getting your child vaccinated. And I'm like, if I don't fully understand what's in all of these vaccinations, to me, there's a lot of if you actually look through any anti-vaccination, look through the comments in anything where people are discussing pro-vaccination or anti-vaccination, there's a lot of legitimate questions that people in the anti-vaccination community does have, in my opinion. And it's just it's literally just from wanting the best for the children, wanting to make sure that whatever is being used or put inside of my child is safe and stuff. And there's been numerous situations, there's been a couple situations then where it seems that fuck, I get the point I was making.
That was rough.
Okay, while you think about that for a second, I read through the article or
part of it,
and the main issue is that now, because of the way our society is set up, kids are coming into contact with other kids younger than previous. So from kindergarten pre-kindergarten already, a lot of kids are going to these institutions or whatever to look after them. And because there's so many kids coming in contact with one another, there's been numerous reports of kids contracting certain types of viruses or whatever that should not be the case in this day and age. And to prevent that, this is one of the solutions that they've come up with. And I the problem, I understand what you're saying,
but it's another thing that could indiscriminately target minority people, because generally speaking, who are the people that might be in low income housing, the people that might need a kinderbeslag and thing, and the way to ensure that you could continue getting your kinderbeslag, you gotta make sure that your kids vaccinated. So that basically means if you got enough money, you can choose to not have your kids vaccinated because you're not as reliant on the kinderbeslag.
But this is this is only one of the things that they're
doing. But regardless, if
I understand
just from
what you're
that
saying.
principle alone, who needs kinderbeslag?
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, it's like,
and I'm not saying don't vaccinate your kids. My thing is there's a whole array of vaccinations and stuff that, let's say 10, 20 years ago, there was nowhere near as many vaccination shots or shots that your child might be required to get. And this is something I can't say for sure how it is in this country, because I know it's a conversation that I've been seeing a lot more happening in the States and stuff like that. Yeah. But how you went from 4 vaccination shots to maybe like 20 to 30 and stuff, and I don't know what all of these
20?
things for. This is some of the arguments and comments and stuff I've been seeing from people in the States.
But I think we need to put this conversation on a pause.
Why?
Because I want to legit know.
There's measles, there's mumps, there's polio, there's this.
But there's certain ones that they're lumped together in like one shot. So we have to I want to. This is very interesting.
There were certain vaccines that have to do with cervical cancer or hepatitis. I forget which one it was, but it was one. I think it was the cervical cancer. No. Yeah, it was the cervical, the HPV vaccine that can lead to cervical cancer and stuff like that.
Are for certain countries as well, so country specific.
And there was a lot of backlash because there was people saying that the HPV vaccine, there was issues with it and all kind of things, and it wasn't. In some cases of children and stuff, there were people that was getting. I don't remember exactly what the results was, but I mean, people just cautious because I don't know what the fuck it is that I'm putting into my child or whatever and thing, and I want to be a little secure, and I feel like these are things that need to be legitimately addressed. But when you look at certain places that have laws that stop the average citizen, private citizens, from filing lawsuits against vaccines, this was something that I was completely shocked about when I first saw it, and I was like, but how you can tell me if I go carry my child to the doctor, they get something from this vaccine, I can't file a lawsuit, I can't file a malpractice claim, because all of these things are there because we're trying to make sure that the public believes and trusts in the vaccines and stuff like that. So we don't want to cause a panic. We want to keep that herd immunity type of thing up so that you don't have pockets where people just not getting vaccinated because they saw this vaccine caused autism. I know that was one of the most things that people was like, if you look into the anti-vaccination, there was this whole thing of this guy who reported a scientific paper or whatever that got discredited because he was saying that the vaccines are linked to autism. And that's one that a lot of people run with. But I mean, from the scientific community or whatever, supposedly this guy has been discredited and has been looked into. Some of the claims he was making was just not necessarily founded on proper stuff. And it's just so that's not true type of thing, but there's still other issues that may be with vaccines in certain cases. And if I can't even sue, if I can't bring this to light, if I can't talk publicly about a negative effect that came from vaccines and shit like that, to me all of these things is things that need to be addressed. And that's why I take issue with you basically saying, okay, everybody on kinderbijslag, y'all getting vaccine. What is up with the vaccine? We know who is the people that generally speaking would be on kinderbijslag.
Yeah. You know, the thing is,
for me to not see it as a racial thing is difficult.
Yeah, but I mean,
a partly racial thing.
Like, I don't know that. In this case, just looking at it from a government perspective, like, I don't know what the conversation then be. And I'm sure, because just how the population is set up, like, when we talk about people that are poor, we always tend to just think about black people. But in the Netherlands, there's a lot of white people that are poor too, dog. There are all of them abusing the toeslag system like fuck. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how they're looking at it, what type of perspective they're looking at this. Sorry.
I know it's not only black people, but it's the same thing in the States. It's not only poor black people, but oftentimes they have these policies that we don't want to say right out that it targets black people, but this is the way that they can get around it. The same way when a club don't want you in, they'll say no sports school or whatever and stuff, because we know who really wearing sports school, generally speaking.
But that's why I said, like, I wanted to pause this, because I really want to read into this, because I want to know what the cause was for this type of reaction. Where were there epidemics coming into in classes and things,
Valid questions.
I want to,
that's why I say I wanted to read the article at least.
I want to know before I really go deeper into this, because it's actually very interesting. I want to know, like, what made them come to this type of conclusion, because this is very weird. Just this action is very weird action to take, but I need more information before I talk about this. Because I don't wanna.
You've been quiet.
I really don't give a shit, to be quite honest.
How do you mean you don't give a shit, Kana?
What do you think about vaccination?
Yeah.
I want to, at least that, just in general.
But to me, you choose. Either you want your child to think there's both positive and negative things on it now. There's the whole history of what can happen possibly from what King was saying before, the vaccination, I mean, with autism and all that. Or you could risk your child getting fucking diseases like the Black Plague and them kind of fucks that was easily...
You have to look at it like this. So let's say you have a kid, right? I'm going to put you in a situation right now. So you have a kid and you decide to vaccinate your kid. You did it so you know that your kid can't get those type of disease. I decide not to give my kid the vaccinations, but then my kid is susceptible to the disease. But the problem with that is, even if your kid got the vaccination, if my kid gets the disease, your kid is still likely to contract the disease.
Then you, as your parent, if you know that's a thing, you have to do your due diligence in the school. Are all the children vaccinated? Is it something that is it a rule for the class that the children are vaccinated? If not, then send if that's important to you, and if you find that's an issue, then send your child to a school where vaccination is a priority. To me, is not that complicated. It's either you want it or you don't.
Or you could be in the middle. Whereas I do believe in the sense, like a flu shot, for example, certain things like that, these are things you can get injected for. Like, you're going to get the cold, the flu at some point in your life, whether you have like H1N1 and stuff. When things like that come up, and it's like, okay, you need to get vaccinated for H1N1, the swine flu and stuff like that. Did you get your vaccination for swine flu?
Before the flu shot, I believe people were dying from the flu. Like, there was an epidemic that people were just dying from the flu.
And there was a lot of different things that could lead to that, from malnutrition and all kind of other environmental factors that also would play into a less developed society than we are now. Whereas, like, these things are more common: access to good water, clean food, all of the clean water and food, and all of these things. Like, depending on where you're going.
that whole thing is debatable. I find that the whole vaccination thing is debatable.
It's very debatable.
That's why
we're debating it right now.
That's why you choose. You don't want your child to have it, or you don't.
And I'll say this from a person who, like, got my vaccinations. At least, I mean, that wasn't something that I could control. I was a child. My mother got me vaccinated. I think I got all of mine. Like, as far as I know. But
I mean, if you travel, you still gotta get vaccinated anyway. You go to Africa, you gotta get vaccinated. So there's no escaping it. I mean, you could risk it for the biscuit, but
to me, my main issue with vaccination is don't demonize everybody who's against vaccination, because yes, there are some people who just don't understand how science works and got the most ridiculous types of reasoning for why they don't want to vaccinate the children, because they feel like the child getting injected with some disease or whatever and thing that intentionally making them sick thing. And I mean, that is kind of how it works, because it exposes you to small doses of the thing so you can build up the tolerance and yeah. So there is some legitimacy to that, but there's a lot of, not everybody is like that. Not everybody is given this thing. And to me, like I said, the most fishy thing is, how can you tell me that it's illegal for you to bring a lawsuit if your child suffered some kind of issue because of vaccination?
I think it's just the government covering the government's ass.
Yeah, that's it.
And when I see something like that automatically puts a red flag in my head. What the fuck is the government up to that we need to make sure that this is rock solid, you can't question it type of thing? Everybody has to go through this.
Yeah, I understand.
And especially coming from a black person's perspective that doesn't trust the government, because historically speaking, there's been way too numerous accounts from the Tuskegee syphilis experiments and all kind of thing, where you just injecting black people with syphilis to see what would happen, to study the progression of a disease and stuff. Why you want me to trust these people just blindly? Why can I not ask a question? That upsets me.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I've just come to terms that certain things I want answers to, and sometimes I won't get it. And I mean, I already got all my vaccinations already, that's the thing. It's like,
I'm not saying I would not vaccinate my child, because like I said, I am vaccinated as well. I just have questions around certain things about vaccinations.
If I ever come into that was our bong, by the way. If I ever come into
that did actually sound like a gong, it actually did kind of. But yeah, continue. He's a fool, Kana. Just so you know.
If I ever come into a certain type of power,
but I was taking too long to talk now. I done.
If I ever come into power to get those types of answers, then I'll get it. But if I'm not in government, in a high power, I won't get the information.
I don't want to be in government with a high power. I snitch on everything and all of them in there, and then they kill me and all the family.
Honestly, I feel the same. Like if I ever were to be in position,
I can't mind.
That's why a lot of people is looking to be like, once Trump get elected, he gonna tell the truth on aliens and all kind of stuff, because the man I
wouldn't be surprised.
The man don't want to read that.
Space Force.
you listen what they say. The man don't want to read. They give this man they have to give this man one blank, like a paper with his name, throughout the whole paper for him to continue reading the thing.
I'm gonna cut this because we're not going to talk about Trump. Okay? So like always, thank you everybody for listening to this episode.
Happy day.
We touch on a majority of the topics that we was planning to touch on today.
No, we had too much, so I mean, we went to the most important.
I just wanted to say this: man safe, another year.
What?
So you really find that was necessary?
I'm not gonna go into context.
So why say that?
That's all I wanted to say. Don't need to go in context with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Kinda, as you were saying.
Your mother is a goddess, boy. To have to deal with your scum on a daily basis for years, Jesus Christ.
Exactly why God is a female.
Yes.
Forgiveness.
God to be. But anyway, again, everybody, thank you for listening and paying attention and engaging, because I probably end up saying we some assholes throughout this episode. But again, thank you if you did listen to the whole thing. If you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, hit us up on Facebook, the LinkUp podcast, or on Instagram, the LinkUp 392, or you could hit me up directly on Instagram, Mr_Labega. Yeah.
And we got Woods the Chosen over there, who dropped a new mixtape, Red. So make sure you check it out and all of them things and follow him. SoundCloud. Yes. And I'm Mr. King 392. Check out FBR if you haven't already.
It's good.
Yeah, man. Alright then, so we can see y'all the next time we link up and all that good stuff.
Peace.
Done now.